Disclaimer. This is going to be an extremely long gun review video because I am reviewing two guns and not just one. And I cannot believe that I have not released any videos on this gun yet. This is a gun that I've been hyping up for quite a while now. This is a gun that has 3 different preview videos for itself, and I haven't made a single review video on it. I've done the normal KN-44, and then I have 2 videos on the God mode version that were coming out. And I didn't upload it as its own video yet, which means I'm going to have to do 2 things. I'm going to have to review the normal version, and then I'm going to have to review the standalone version itself. And this is one of those Black Ops 3 guns that I'm very happy with, because it turned out to be one of my best works alongside the Cuda and the Locust. My Black Ops 3 guns are arguably my magnus opus of my channel. The best guns that I have possibly ever made in the series itself. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it because it's going to be a long video itself. If you hear the creaking of my door, it's because my window is open and the pressure difference between my room and the hallway is different. So it'll kind of wiggle my door around. It'll make it creak a little bit, so I apologize for that. I went ahead to turn my fan off. I've been doing this without my fan for a while now, just so you guys couldn't hear that. But now the door is going to get in the way, so I'm super sorry for that. So first off, this is the standard version itself in LDD, just normal LDD screenshots. As you can see, there is a lot going on, but it's one of my best looking models in terms of detail and being able to just achieve so much in such a small integration worth of room. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at it inside of LDD, where we actually have the magazine because that wasn't included in the original. But this is the KN-44. Here we have the stock, which is 4 studs wide, mainly. We have the kind of sloping that's going on through here. This section right here, which is the cheek pad, actually slopes down into 3 studs, and it has curves on top of it to make it comfortable. Entire portion of the stock down here has its own curves. This gets down into 2 studs, and this goes out on just side plates, so I could use this angle here. We have a small indent here, and I have no idea what keeps vibrating like that. It's really weird. We have the butt pad back here, which has the angle to it and the curve as well. Pretty standard stock. Here's the standard grip, which has this little indentation through it, or design, I should say. That was very difficult to do, but I like how it turned out. It's curved on the front and curved on the back to make it comfortable for the shooter. We have the working trigger here, and then the trigger guard with its angle coming up into here, and of course our magazine release, which is a standard magazine release, and then it comes up into the back of this magazine, which has no lip on the back, which I've just noticed. That's something that I'm going to have to go back and change. This portion here is 4 studs, this portion is 2 studs, this portion here is 5 studs. This 5 stud portion goes into the 6 stud wide receiver, and the 6 stud wide receiver goes into the 4 stud wide stock. In case you guys got all that. This comes out into a total of 7 studs wide because of this, and then slightly even further, which is 8, 9, 10 studs wide because of the charging handle itself. Hope you guys were able to keep up with all that. Magazine is 3 studs wide in the body, and then tapers down to 2 studs wide just to give it a little bit more detail and added realism. We have this small little loop and rubber piece on the bottom here to protect the magazine from falls. We have the little bit of indentation here and in the angles of the receiver, as well as the ridges in the receiver itself. On this side we have the safety. This took me forever to do. When it's in safety, it blocks the bolt from being able to be pulled, and then I'm going to assume that, like a normal AK-47, that this would be full auto and this would be semi-auto, and that in-game they just do it in dumb ways. Here we have the bolt. Is it on tracks? I believe it's on tracks, so if we grab this, we should be able to pull the bolt back so that you can see the exposed rounds in the top of the magazine. which I think is a very nice touch. We can close that. This angles up into the top of the handguard, which has a rail system that goes through it, as well as our rear iron sights. Credit to Christopher Hotman for this idea behind how these iron sights were going to work. It's kind of like his pistols, except these pieces are turned sideways and also translucent red, and they have these ears that come down. Credit to him for that. On top of that, you can adjust this for elevation. I don't believe that's a feature in-game. It's just something that I wanted to do because most normal AKs have it, and if this is the futuristic AK, then it should have it as well. We have this piece here, which comes into a 3-stud wide lower handguard. This is a huge 32 long Technic beam. If I can click on it, you can see 32 long right here, 32M. So it's 32 studs long, so it includes most of the barrel. The handguard, like I said, is 3 studs wide, and then it kind of comes out to 5 studs in this area here and here. But then it has these side panels on it to get the proper angles. And then to do the vents, I had to use these pieces here so that I could get the necessary angles, and that's on both sides. And these are slightly recessed so that they don't pop up too much. And then it has the slight indents on the top here. This is, of course, a 4-stud wide upper portion of the handguard with the small dots. And then 3-stud wide lower rail system here for the grip, which we'll get into in the God mode version. We have the gas block here, which has the little vents in it. The sling mount here, which just, you can put a sling in there. Gas block through there, front iron sight portion there, and then the barrel and the muzzle brake at the end. That is the standard KN-44. With the God mode version of the Cuda and Locust, if I've put out that video, I put out the God mode version of it. I believe with those videos I went through and I showed each and every individual attachment for it. But for the sake of length, because we're already 7 minutes into this video, I'm going to go ahead and not do that. I'm going to go ahead and just show you the God mode version of it and leave it at that. So the difference between this and the God mode version is that the God mode version has every in-game available attachment on it. That is the normal attachment, I should say. It's not the black market version of the attachments, because the black market version of the attachments would be a different version of this. On top of it being the all attachment version, it's also the gold camouflage version. So I went ahead and applied the warm gold camouflage so that we could also have that difference in here. So we're going to go through each and every single attachment that changes a portion of the weapon, because that's something cool about Black Ops 3, is that every attachment changes a portion of the gun, and I really like that. Here we have the stock, which is mainly 4-stud wide. It's got the same kind of grooving going on down through here. Got small details here. This portion here is 3-stud wide, which is the actual kind of like rubber buttstock portion of it. You can see these are offset just by 1 stud, just to give it a little bit more detail. I don't think this was comfortable in real life, but it's in-game accurate. So we have this weird indentation coming through the majority of this, but it's also rounded. Here we have the quick draw attachment, which changes up the grip considerably, to be completely honest. It's got these little reams on the inside, small little hole on the bottom, and then these reams on the outside or the back portion. A little portion down here to keep your finger from going too far out. It's got these screw details going through here. Standard trigger and standard magazine release here, which again, I need to fix the ledge on the back. These are the extended magazines, which turn black, and then they have an extra added length to them, as well as these different base plates down at the bottom, which you can see here. These are connected to one another using actual Technic pins somewhere. Yeah, there they are, right here. These Technic pins here, boom. And because they're connected like that, they'll stick to one another. So this is the fast mags attachment is this thing, and then it's the extended mag, so that two attachments working together on top of one another, which you can see works out pretty well. We have the grip attachment here, which is a pretty standard grip. It's got the little waviness to it. It's got the screw details in it as well. This receiver back here has two attachments inside of it. The bolt has the rapid fire attachment. The rapid fire attachment, the only change is the charging handle itself. The high caliber attachment changes up the dust cover portion. So we have this selector back here, which actually can be moved between the two settings. It's got this little red tab that hangs off of it, which was achieved using some bracket pieces and then some of these angles because it's hollow on the inside, and I wanted to be able to do that. It's also got this little weird thing going on right here. This was pretty fun to do. I like how it turned out. The FMJ attachment changes the entire lower handguard portion and actually extends it out just a little bit further. It also adds quite a bit more rail length to the entire section itself. So it adds this entire front part here to the front, right through there. Adds these rails over here and this rail over here, which is being occupied by the laser side attachment, which has these red translucent tubes coming through so that there's just a small, like, little added detail of the laser. This detail is easier to see on this side. You can see the small little indentation here and then this indentation here. See the barrel and through here. This is the long barrel attachment, which is octagonal, and it has this little indentation running through it on both sides. And then the suppressor attachment as well, which I believe is the ugliest out of all the attachments that I created because this is fairly difficult to build, to be completely honest. Is that all the attachments? I believe so. So this is the God mode version of it, and then there'd be another version that would come out that would basically be all the black market attachments. But I believe I'm only missing like one black market attachment, and I don't particularly play a lot of Black Ops 3 anymore. Because the game's kind of old and Black Ops 3 content won't make me as many views as I want. I know that's a very greedy thing to say because views equal money, but it's the truth, unfortunately. I'm also done with a little bit of the Black Ops 3 guns because most of them have very difficult mechanisms to make out of Lego. The KRM-262 mechanism is very difficult to make out of Lego. The Dingo has these mechanical things that come together over the magazine. If you look at the slow motion footage of it, and then the Man of War assault rifle, the entire mag well like breaks apart into two. So it's very difficult to do all these little nuanced things with Lego itself to get the overall model down without not doing them at all. So I'd much rather just do the ones that I know I can do and then leave it at that. So here we go, the KN-44 in its base version and the God mode version. I'm going to go ahead and use the God mode version as a thumbnail because there's a lot more going on and there's more gold in it, which will work better with the black background that the standard LDD screenshots take. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This was such a long time in the making. I have no idea why this review is coming out so late, but I hope you guys can forgive me because this is just such an awesome gun. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, comment, rate, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And don't forget to be able to check out my website at bluejaythemeister.weebly.com. Thank you guys so much for watching.